My name is Brycia, and I am living a happy and successful life with bipolar disorder. Many of you have seen the video that I put out in 2014 about my survival story through anorexia. I had no idea that so many people would be impacted and inspired by my story. I received so many amazing comments, and I just wanted to say thank you. My name is Brycia, and I'm a survivor of anorexia. Since recovering from anorexia, I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and this is my story on how I'm living a happy and successful life with bipolar disorder.
Speak and open up your mind. It's something you should do all the time.
We didn't have any experience with bipolar or manic episodes or psychotic episodes.
I just thought she was maybe just going through a teenage phase.
Things started to change with Brycia when she started to have her first manic episode.
Her junior year of high school, probably around March of 2015.
My junior year of high school, I had my first psychotic episode.
I remember that, seemed like every once in a while, my parents would just be kind of freaked out or a little stressed, and when I come home from school or something, and we'd talk about it, and they'd be like, Brycia's not being herself.
Speaking something like gibberish.
It's a really foggy time for me because when you're in psychosis, you don't remember a lot of things. It's kind of like a big memory gap in my life.
She became paranoid.
One time she drove me to football and she was running really fast and then slowing down and then going fast and then just kind of all over the road.
One of the signs of manic episodes and bipolar is more aggressive sexuality, and it just wasn't like Brycia to be like that.
And I remember she just started spending money left and right, and I thought, oh, that's very uncharacteristic of Brycia.
And she would be up all hours of the night.
Talking to my sister, but it's not really my sister.
I remember sitting in the chair in my bedroom one afternoon reading, and she got home from school, coming into my room pretty panicked that someone was following her closely behind her car.
Where we realized that this was a mental illness was at the point where it progressed enough to where the things she said made no sense at all, and we knew she wasn't on drugs or alcohol or anything like that. She just did not make any sense.
My parents started to notice these things and see these symptoms, and they started to get concerned.
And I got on the phone with the counselor, and that was the night that she said, you absolutely have to take her to the ER to get a psychiatric evaluation done.
When I took her into the emergency room and sitting there with her for 2 days.
I was in communication with him through text throughout the night because I was so worried I didn't know what was going on. And he mentioned to me through text that a counselor had come in and talked with Brycia and
diagnosed her as being in psychosis.
After running several tests, the conclusion was that I was in psychosis.
She even specifically asked if there was bipolar that ran in our family, and as far as we knew, there wasn't.
When you're in psychosis, you block out everything because you're not yourself.
And we had to move her to a mental health facility. They took her in an ambulance, and my wife and I followed the ambulance to the facility, and we got out of the car and watched them taking Brycia out of the ambulance, and she was screaming and throwing a a fit like I've never ever seen her do before. She was just, I know she was scared to death to go back into a hospital.
I then went to the psychiatric ward that they recommended for me, and it was really hard.
It was just crushing. We'd been through that before when she was admitted to hospital for eating disorder, and it was just a horrible situation.
I wasn't trying to cry. Darn it. It's really hard to talk about that.
And then they had to put her on heavy medication, and then when she started to come out, because of the medication, she'd come out of the psychosis, then she's not herself either. And so what's going through my mind in these situations is am I ever gonna have my daughter back? And you question that, and you just don't know.
What would you like to say?
I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
I was put on a medication that brought me down from psychosis, and unfortunately it had a lot of side effects like weight gain. I would look in the mirror and my eyes just looked like they weren't mine. They looked like just not, I wasn't myself. So it was a hard position because I was either in a manic or psychotic state, or I was brought down with medication and I still wasn't myself.
When you watch your child go through such a hard time and you don't recognize your child, it's a really difficult thing to understand and navigate through. And watching your child become not only manic but then psychotic is it's just a really excruciating thing to watch.
The second time that she went into a manic situation and had a psychotic episode, I think what happened to us is because we'd already been through it once, we were conscious of the signs to look for. But with the second time around, we still didn't react on it quickly enough and in the right way. And I think it's because we were just in denial. We were so scared that it was happening again.
So many people can't understand mental illness, and being in high school when all of this happened was especially hard because no one my age could fully understand what I was going through.
So Brace had been into multiple mental health facilities, and she'd been on heavy medication to bring her out of the psychosis state.
And was coming down from it and had no more refills, and we had not continued the relationship with the psychiatrist. So if we wanted to get back into the psychiatrist, we would have had to make an appointment as a new patient once again, which would have taken a lot of time.
She then realized what was happening, and she recognized herself as right on the border of, she recognized the manic state that she was in, and she realized that she was right on the border of becoming, of entering full psychosis. And we were desperately, at that time, we were desperately trying to find a psychiatrist that we could get into and that could get her medication to stop the psychosis coming. And she was fighting it so hard.
I remember feeling hopeless and so hurt that there wasn't easier access or help for people like me who were going through psychosis and mania. I just wanted to get help. I was seeing that this was not a good place to be, and I wanted help.
I remember multiple days coming home from work and seeing my wife on her bed, on Bracia's bed with her, just trying to comfort her because Bracia did not want to go into full psychosis again. She was fighting it.
Her psychiatrist appointment that we had made was weeks and weeks away, and she was really struggling, and my husband and I sat down and talked about her possibly going into a treatment center that is in Tucson. It's called Sierra Tucson, and you had to be 18 to go in. You had to be an adult, and our good friend had gone there and highly recommended it.
So my parents found an amazing facility in Tucson, Arizona called Sierra Tucson.
So we sat her down and
They said, "Hey Bracia, this is a great facility. We've heard amazing things about it, but it's your decision. If you want to go here and get help, it's up to you."
I remember how impressed and amazed I was at her strength. She just, with tears in her eyes, just said, "I just want help so badly." So she very willingly chose to go into Sierra Tucson.
Bracia had the strength to say that that's what, that she was willing to do that.
My husband and I took her down on a Saturday afternoon and said goodbye to her, and we knew that she would be there for about a month's time, and so it was an incredible experience to have her be able to go there, and it was pretty close to home, only a couple hours away, so that was really nice.
When my mom told me Bracia was going to Sierra Tucson, it was kind of like sad because I didn't really understand it so fully, and my sister was going to be gone for like a month or more, and it was kind of scary.
It's 24/7 care from counselors, doctors, and associating with people that are also suffering from mental health issues.
It entirely changed my life. I came out stronger. I came out with kind of a shield of armor.
It's probably the most defining moment of Bracia's life with mental health challenges, because she got into the facility. She had access then to psychiatrists that worked with her and got her on the right medication, and continual daily counseling in learning how to live a happy and successful life despite mental illness issues that she struggles with.
I found a good medication that works for me. I had a great team of doctors. This treatment facility changed my life. That was the turning point.
It was amazing just to see the transition and the help she got, and
that was almost 3 years ago.
I'd say today Bracia is just thriving. She's starting her third year of college. She's going to be going to Italy to do a study abroad program. She's happy, she's healthy, she's on the right medications. She's a huge advocate for mental illness. She's very open to talk about her story to help others, and she does help others by sharing her story.
I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to go there and get the help I needed.
Bracia still every single day implements the principles and the concepts that she learned down there, and truly does live a happy and successful life with bipolar, despite the mental illness that she has and will have all her life. It was the month that she spent at Sierra Tucson that taught her how to work with that and still be happy.
And she has coping mechanisms that she goes to when, she's feeling stressed or whatever the case may be, that she feels she needs to go to that, and so she's just doing amazing.
It's a lot of fun to have Bracia around, and she's doing a lot better.
So today Bracia is 100% better. really, she never has any episodes. I think that Sierra Tucson definitely helped, and she just kind of Bracia's normal self now, and it's good having Bracia back.
And it's easy to talk to Bracia because Bracia will initiate all of the talking. She's interested in you. She says things that she just brings up conversation. There's not many times when you're around Bracia that there's just silence, because she wants to talk to you, and that's what she does.
Today I'm doing really well. I haven't had another manic or psychotic episode since I left Sierra Tucson.
I'd say that if you have family members struggling with mental illness, probably the best thing you could do is to make sure that they know that you love them and that you care for them, and make sure they know that it's not their fault. You can't treat them like you can't treat them like they're making these choices on themselves.
Don't lose hope. Like, it's gonna be hard. The road will be hard. It won't be easy, but you'll get through it if you just keep pushing and have hope.
The advice I would give to a parent who has a child that has mental illness that they're learning about is to really seek help right away.
So bipolar is a really scary thing, I think, for parents when they have children that have bipolar issues. It's a process of learning how to recognize the signs of the episodes that happen.
But I think that it is important to get them into counseling, to get them in to see a psychiatrist, to allow them to express their feelings and to validate them, and not say things like, oh, just get over it, or you'll get through it, or this is just a phase, or buck up, or you're stronger than that, because then you're invalidating their feelings, and then they perhaps may think that what they're feeling is normal.
If people have loved ones who are struggling with mental illness and they think that the reason they are struggling is because of something they did or what they think, then that is a problem. No one chooses depression. No one chooses eating disorders. People that have addictions don't choose to be addicted. It's an illness no different than cancer, and to the extent that the support group around people don't believe that, then that's going to make recovery very difficult for that person.
But to be open about it and talk about it, I think oftentimes what happens is that we're ashamed, or we don't want to talk about it because what's wrong with our child, or why did they get this? But if we realize that this isn't something they chose, it just happened.
If you or anyone you know is struggling with mental illness, reach out for help. You are not alone. The biggest reason why I wanted to make this video is because I want people to know that you can still live a happy and successful life with any form of mental illness, whether it's depression or anxiety. A small piece about me is that I've become very passionate about ending the stigma associated around mental illness, and I'm really working hard to try to get myself out there so that maybe one day I can write scripts for movies and put them on the big screen and try to depict mental illness in a real and raw form. Grit is actually my favorite word. I use that in my Instagram bio. It's a word that means a lot to me. I don't have any tattoos, but if I did get one, I'd probably write the word grit on my fingers. If you have grit, you'll rise above the fray and you'll get through your hard times in life. I hope that in 20 years from now, there won't be such a stigma associated around mental illness. And I think it's people like you and me who can end it just in our everyday lives.
Speak
It's something you should do.